Hi everybody, it's Carly here at Paws Paradise, and I know that usually when I do a video it's to talk about something we sell here or something we offer, but today I'm actually going to talk about something we don't sell here, and that thing is retractable leashes. I was actually looking for one to demo with today, but we don't sell them, I don't use them, Melissa doesn't use them, so I don't have one. But we do get lots of people who come in asking for them or who come in using them, so I thought we should do a video about why we don't sell them here. The first reason is training, and compared to the other things I'm going to talk about in this video, it's probably the least of your worries with a retractable, but training is important, and I think people don't realize that when they use a retractable, they're actually teaching their dog to pull on a leash. And yes, dogs who walk on these kinds of leashes their whole lives will still pull if you don't do any work with them. However, you're definitely not making it any better if you're using a retractable, and that's because there's no consistency in the response when your dog pulls when he's on a retractable. So sure, sometimes you don't want him to go that far away from you, so you'll stop him, right? But other times he pulls and he can go. And so he learns that the harder he pulls, the farther he goes, and sometimes he just has to pull a little bit longer and a little bit harder, and then he can go. And so yeah, training compared to the other things I'm going to talk about, not the biggest deal in this video. However, given the number of people who come in saying, oh, my dog walks horribly on a leash, what can I do to make it better, how can I change that? I do think it's really significant. Training is important. So, second reason we don't sell retractables is because of the safety of people and dogs in your neighborhood. So sometimes when you're walking, you can see somebody approaching, a person, a dog, a cyclist, whatever, and you can shorten your retractable and cross the street or do whatever you need to do. However, sometimes you can't see them. They're around the corner or they're coming up behind you. And if your dog already has the length of leash that they need to reach that person or dog or cyclist, there isn't much you can do to get them out of that situation quickly and effectively before it becomes a worse situation potentially. And regardless of what kind of leash you're using, you should not be running your dog up to strange people or strange dogs in your neighborhood. Even if your dog is super friendly and you know they love everybody, maybe that person is super afraid of dogs. Maybe that dog is dog aggressive. And if that dog's owner is doing the best they can to be responsible and keep their dog under control, they have every right to walk around the neighborhood and not be bombarded by strange dogs who could potentially cause a fight and cause injury. And on that note, if you have a dog aggressive or reactive dog, or a dog who is, a heavy, strong puller and they're difficult for you to handle, you should absolutely not be using a retractable anytime, anywhere. Just never do it if your dog has any of those characteristics. The third thing, related obviously, is the safety of your own dog. So there are lots of things that can go wrong with retractables, but a big thing with them is that they break easily and often. Most of the time when people come in looking for one, it's because their old retractable broke. And sometimes it's because people are using little retractable leashes with 110-pound dogs, but more often than not, they break because they break. And they can break a few different ways, right? So the cord that winds up inside the mechanism is really thin and it can snap clean in half, and then you have a loose dog. It can also break on the inside and just refuse to retract or not lock anymore, and then you basically still have a loose dog. And I don't need to go into all of the things that can happen if your dog is suddenly loose. You're walking on a busy street, you're walking by, the house with a dog-aggressive dog, whatever. It's a bad situation, and retractables break easily and they break often. And another safety thing, which this is smaller but still related to safety, If you're using a leash like this, we don't recommend that you hold it like this. We actually recommend that you put your hand through and grip it like this for safety. And yes, we don't always do it, we're not perfect, but generally speaking, especially if you have a dog who does pull or who is reactive or something like that, this little bit of extra safety can really make a difference. And if you have a retractable, you don't even have that option. And if you're trying to do training and you're trying to get treats out with one hand, something like that, it can really, having this little extra bit of safety can really make a difference. So that's basically it. That's why we don't recommend retractables. It's why we don't sell them. You'll never find them here. If you have any more questions about them, or if you have questions about the kinds of leashes that we do carry and recommend, feel free to ask. I'll answer anything I can. But thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you later. Bye.